Welcome to A Slice of Bacon with Matt Bacon, a podcast about movies. It's April 15th, 2016, and in today's episode, I discuss AMC's discussion on texting-friendly theaters, the frontrunner for the role of the new Han Solo, all the news surrounding Spider-Man Homecoming, the future of James Cameron's Avatar, and a prediction of the weekend box office. Before I begin, if you enjoy listening to the show, be sure to like it on Facebook. Just search A Slice of Bacon Podcast or visit facebook.com/ASOB Podcast. Not only will you know when the latest episode hits, but you also get amazing Matt Bacon commentary, and I have some updates in store for the next week. Also, subscribe to A Slice of Bacon on iTunes, and when you're done, please rate and review this podcast. Preferably a high rating, but every rating helps my show get noticed and on the iTunes charts. Finally, please send your listener questions. You can leave them one of two ways. Tweet me at BaconRelatedPun with the hashtag ASOB, or if 140 characters just doesn't do it for you, you can send me an email at asliceofbaconpod@gmail.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Now for today's news. Wednesday, in an interview with Variety, AMC Theatres CEO Adam Aron spoke about the future of the movie-going experience. Answering a question regarding appealing to certain demographics, Aron spoke about trying to get millennials more interested in attending movies. In regard to millennials, he said, "When you tell a 22-year-old to turn off the phone, don't ruin the movie, they hear, please cut off your left arm above the elbow. You can't tell a 22-year-old to turn off their cell phone. That's not how they live their life." Aron's idea? To make auditoriums more texting friendly. As soon as the story hit the web, it garnered outrage from every corner of the film community. Today, after 2 days of pushback, Adam Aron released a statement saying there will be no texting allowed at any screenings at AMC theaters in the future. Now, when I first read this information about the texting, or being texting-friendly theaters, I was extremely ambivalent until I realized, well, if they had special screenings in which it was texting-friendly, that's one thing. I don't mind if they, I guess, had a special time slot for people who wanted to text during movies. Say, okay, if you want to go at 5 o'clock, you can text. But anybody going to any other screening, there's no texting allowed. We're going to strictly enforce the policy. That would be fine, especially if that meant they would actually enforce the policy. These days, all these movie chains say they won't allow texting, but almost every movie I've been to in the last year, there's at least one person on their phone, maybe not through the whole duration of the film, but at the corner of my eye, I can see the glow of their phone. I mean, we don't have to worry about this now because AMC just released that statement this morning, basically going back on everything that Aron said a couple days ago. So it's not going to change anytime soon, especially when so many people were coming out against it. That being said, I wouldn't mind if there were separate screenings. People are still going to use their films. People are still going to text. People are still going to disrupt the movie-going experience. That's going to happen. And I believe it actually would happen less if we had a place for their outlet, for them to outlet their habits. Going to the next piece of news, it seems as though the search for the new Han Solo might have come to an end. According to Deadline, Alden Ehrenreich of Hail Caesar fame is the new frontrunner for the role. I last spoke on the podcast that several names were on the shortlist, including Taron Egerton and Blake Jenner. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are directing the Han Solo standalone film, which is slated to come out May 28th, 2018. Now, this news comes after they flew out Alden Ehrenreich, Blake Jenner, Taron Egerton, and some other names. They flew them all out to London a few weeks ago to do a screen test for each of them. And that must have meant that Alden Ehrenreich's screen test was great. I do not have any doubts about Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They are great directors. They did 21 Jump Street. They did what was the other one? The Lego Movie. they're currently working on the show, or at least they did they helped on the first season of Last Man on Earth with Will Forte. They dipped their toe into many different pools, many different very creative pools. So I am very confident that this Han Solo movie won't be bad. If they think that Alden Ehrenreich is the front runner, hell, I can't wait to see the first trailer with him in it. That said, I'm not convinced that he wasn't already chosen weeks ago. They had talked about having Han Solo cameo in the Rogue One movie, and I think that is still the case. I think that it's still going to happen. And if it is true and they just picked him, I think there's going to be a reshoot and they're going to add him to the Rogue One movie. That would make 100% sense. Get people used to the new Han Solo so that when his full movie comes out in 2018, we're used to the face. I thought Ehrenreich was great in Hail Caesar. He was the best part, actually. He had good comedic timing, and he had good dramatic chops. The movie itself was a mixed bag, but none of his scenes were a mixed bag. He was the best part. So I'm very interested to see how this Han Solo standalone film goes. There won't be much information on it in the next year unless we're talking about casting news. And so far, if he's the person cast as Han Solo, I'm not disappointed. During Wednesday's podcast, I briefly stated Sony's new Spider-Man film got a new logo and title, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Since Sony's presentation at CinemaCon, a few rumors have popped up about the film's villain. It's being reported by several outlets that Michael Keaton is in talks to play the film's villain. And who is he? If the rumors are true, it is said to be the Vulture. Spider-Man: Homecoming is directed by John Watts, stars Tom Holland, and comes out July 7th, 2017. Off the bat, I think the worst news out of all of this is the name of the film, Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'm not in love with it, although I really do like the logo. A lot of people online do not like the logo, but I think it's very reminiscent of the 90s, of a happier, chipper Spider-Man. My biggest problem with this Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, as well as The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, both of those were very, I wouldn't say dark, but they were darker. They didn't have a liveliness that the Marvel Universe has now. And I'm hoping that now that Sony is actually working with Marvel, that the tone of these films will be lighter, more cheerful, and all around better. As for the villain, Michael Keaton, I think, is a great choice. He was very good in Birdman. He was great in Spotlight. He was good in his prime with Beetlejuice and Batman. He disappeared for a while. I think it's great that he's making a comeback. He has enough weird quirks that he works perfectly as a villain. I don't know anything about the Vulture, so I can't really speak to that. I'm not a Spider-Man reader, so anybody listening to this, if you have anything to say about Vulture or Michael Keaton as Vulture, please tweet me or email me. But as a complete outsider to the villain and this whole new universe of Spider-Man, as somebody who's only seen the films, I'm excited. I like this. It looks brighter, cheery, as I said, and Michael Keaton, I think, could play a really good, crazy villain as long as they don't make it over the top like they did with Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2. But I don't think Marvel will let that happen. Marvel is working very closely with Sony, and because they have Spider-Man in their Captain America Civil War film, I do not think that they're going to let this character fail with Sony. That said, Sony could still screw things up as they have done several times in the past. So we'll just see. I can't wait to see a trailer or a teaser, or I can't wait to see Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Civil War. I've heard that he's great. I've heard that his fight sequences are great as well. So I'm excited. Now, another story out of CinemaCon is that 20th Century Fox held their presentation and had big news about James Cameron's Avatar. Cameron took the stage by saying, we've decided to embark on a truly massive cinematic process. We've begun to bump up against the limitation of our art form. There's just too much story. What does this mean? It means that instead of a couple new Avatar sequels, we're going to get 4. Avatar 2 will arrive Christmas 2018, followed by Avatar 3 in 2020, Avatar 4 in 2022, and Avatar 5 in 2023. According to Cameron, each sequel will be a standalone film that'll tie the world together. Along with this announcement, attendees also got a look at the new logo for the franchise. Now, first speaking about this new logo, they are still keeping the really horrible typeface for the Avatar name. It is still that papyrus, and it looks terrible. The actual logo itself looks a little bit cooler. It's one of those flying creatures acting as the bridge of the letter A, and a rock formation making the rest of the letter. It's very cool. If there's a place that you can find it online, just search Avatar logo. It'll probably pop up. It's online. I've seen it several places. Slashfilm.com has it. Honestly, I like the logo itself. I don't like the type style that they use for the treatment of the title, but whatever. That's the one they used in the first film, so they're probably not going to be changing it anytime soon. As for 4 sequels, I'm worried about this. Not because I don't think these are going to be good films. The first Avatar was not a terrible film. It's not a great film, but I saw Avatar on TV a couple months ago, and I found myself surprised by how much time I spent actually watching it. I thought, oh, Avatar's on, so I started watching, and I was enveloped. Again, it wasn't a great film. It wasn't a game changer, in my opinion. The effects were great, and I guess it was a game changer in that respect. But from what I hear about The Jungle Book, which I'm going to be seeing later today, that's also a game changer. So we'll see what happens with Avatar. What I said I'm worried about is the time frame. Avatar came out many years ago. It came out, I believe, in the last decade. I could be wrong about that, but it came out several years ago. And they're only saying the second one is coming out in 2018, and they're saying a new one's going to come out at least every 2 years. I don't believe that. I will believe it when I see it, but who knows? We may never even see Avatar 5. As for being standalone films, I don't know what exactly that means. Will Sam Worthington be back in all the films? Will Zoe Saldana? Will we see other parts of the Avatar world? How big is the planet? What else is going on there? Who knows? I'm honestly hoping they don't bring back Sam Worthington. He wasn't the best part of that film. He wasn't a great actor. There's a reason why we haven't seen him pop up in many films since. I don't know. I'm tentatively excited just because I thought the look of the film is so great. I like the look of the blue creatures. I like the look of the planet. I like the look of the planet itself. Or the foliage and everything on the planet, like the trees and all that. Everything else, I don't know. Story could go either way. We'll see. But yeah, that's the information about Avatar, and we probably won't have any more information on that for another year. Finally, it's Friday, which means it's time to predict the weekend box office. This weekend sees the wide release of 3 films: Barbershop: The Next Cut, Criminal, and The Jungle Book. I think all of these movies will bring a huge shakeup to the week's top 5. Number 1, I believe, will be Jungle Book, with number 2, Barbershop: The Next Cut, followed by number 3, The Boss, Batman v Superman at number 4, and rounding out the top 5 will be Criminal. Now, Jungle Book, I believe, will be top 5, will be number 1 because it's Disney. It's gotten nothing but great reviews. It holds a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's certified fresh. So if anything else, it's going to be enjoyable. It may not be the best film of the year, but I think families are going to be happy with it. Barbershop, I've heard that it's not a great movie, but that the dramatic moments work. The humor mostly works, and having seen the other barbershop films, if it's even half as funny as those, I think this will be a good one. Boss and Batman v Superman, I think will just stay at the same place in terms of where they would logically be if Jungle Book and Barbershop did not come out. The Boss has been ahead of Batman v Superman all week. I don't think that's going to change, so I think third and fourth place for them respectively is where it's going to end up. As for Criminal, I'm being brave by putting it on the week's top 5. It did not do good in midnight showings or Thursday night showings. That said, Zootopia could have been in that spot, but I think Barbershop. I think Jungle Book will take some of the crowd for Zootopia. They're both Disney films and they're both aimed at children. I think because of Jungle Book, Zootopia is going to suffer a bit more. And because of that, I think Criminal will just get on to the top 5. Maybe with not a lot of money, but it will make the top 5. With that, it's my Friday show, and I will talk to you all on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend.